So the only thing really that you're going to need is you'll need a cushion or a blanket, something to sit on, because you want to have a little bit of elevation in your hips. That's just going to support you to sit more upright, more effortlessly. You don't necessarily need a yoga mat. If you have one and you want to use it, that's fine. If you're on a soft surface in particular, you won't need a mat. If you're on a hard surface, it might just be nice to cover that hard surface. So let's get started. Go ahead and create a nice comfortable seated position. You can have your legs crossed. You can put your hands either in between the legs, one on top of the other, or you can lay the hands on the knees facing up or down. Find the position that's most comfortable and close your eyes. Let's start with 3 deep breaths. And with these first breaths, it's good to kind of cleanse by opening your mouth on the exhalation. And then you can just swallow, clear your throat, draw the lower abdominal muscles in. That'll give you nice support in the lower back. And with your eyes closed, feel as though you can really hear or feel the crown of your head lift up toward the ceiling. At the same time, the tailbone drops down toward the earth. And the first thing I want you to do is to feel or do kind of a scan to experience what is happening in your physical body. Oftentimes when we're dealing with a lot of stress, we end up putting all of our energy into our mental faculties and getting really caught up in the mind. It's important to come back into the body and just notice the different sensations. And what I want you to do is find the areas where you feel particular comfort or ease in your body. And I want you to breathe into those regions. So when you inhale, it's as though you want to feel those areas expand, reaching to the other corners of your body where you may be uncomfortable. And then just take one more breath there. And then go ahead and bring your attention to your emotional state. So the feelings that you've carried with you into this practice this morning. And the thing I want to emphasize is that it's not about describing the reason behind these feelings. So it's not about telling the story of why you feel a certain way, but instead it's important to notice the feeling itself. So I might be feeling anxious, overwhelmed, sad. And you just want to name the feelings for what they are. Not say, I'm anxious because this is happening or that's happening. Just notice the present. Take one more breath there. And then bring your attention into your mind. So any thoughts that are arising, allowing them to just be as they are, not analyzing, not wanting to change them. Give attention to each thought and allow it to pass naturally. And one breath there. And finally, I want you to bring your attention to the environment in which you're sitting right now. Pay attention to the noises, the sounds, the smells. the temperature of the room that you're sitting in, any sensation that you can feel from the people around you, if there are people around you. Feel your connection to your environment. And then take one more breath there. As you slowly open your eyes, just noticing the sensations in your body. Good. And from here, I want you to just take your arms up over your head as you inhale, extending tall. And as you exhale, you're going to rotate to your left and place your left hand behind you and twist. So just letting yourself be nice and lifted with your inhalation, and then twisting deeply with your exhalation. And as you turn your gaze, that should really be following the twist. So you're not turning your head to twist, you're turning your body and then looking over the shoulder. And take just 2 breaths there. And then release. And let's go to the other side. So you're going to inhale and raise the arms again. And then as you exhale, take your right hand back behind you and twist to the other side. Lift, open the chest with your inhale. Relax your shoulders. Turn the body as you exhale. And if you practice the Ujjayi breathing that I sent the video about, you'll know that the way that we want to breathe throughout the practice is to constrict the back of our throats. If you're not familiar with that breathing, I'll review it a little bit now. I'm going to take one more breath here. Twist a little deeper with your exhale. And then come forward. So the breathing technique that you mostly want to practice here is called Ujjayi. And what you do is you start to breathe by constricting the back of your throat. So if you do it with your mouth open, it's going to kind of sound like, it has kind of like a Darth Vader-like quality when you practice it, so it's a hissing sound. That's with your exhale and with your inhale. But the way that we really practice it during practice is with the mouth closed, so it gets a little bit quieter and more internalized. And what this does is it helps you to regulate the rhythm of your breath so that you're not just breathing and losing energy or chi as you're doing the practice, but you're really building an internal heat. That'll help lubricate your joints, and also the breathing, because there's a sound quality that you're listening to as you breathe. It helps to keep your focus in the practice, keep you more present. So now what we're going to do is open the spine. So we'll start by placing the hands over the knees. And opening the heavenly pillar, what that does is it begins to move the energy that's in your kidneys and help it to circulate up the spinal cord. So with your hands here, you're going to start to rotate in either direction. And what you're doing here is you're going to visualize as though there's a clock underneath you. And with your rotation, you want to hit every hour of that clock. And by the way, if your lower back is really tender or tight, you can start with really small circles. So you can go teeny tiny and then make them bigger as it becomes more comfortable. Just keep breathing. Once in a while you can breathe out through the mouth, especially if you're having like allergies or cold symptoms, anything that you need to clear. Good, and then let's reverse directions. So again, you can start really small, really gentle, and then increase the size and maybe even the speed of your rotation. So I'm still in a sitting position, legs crossed. I'm not sure if that's totally visible. Rotating gently. Good, and then come back to center. And now you can remove the cushion or blanket that you have underneath you and come onto your hands and knees. So we'll start with a cat stretch. So I'm going to get into a position where you can see me. So the hands are going to be under the shoulders, the knees below the hips. As you inhale, you'll arch the back, pull the shoulders back. As you exhale, you'll round the spine, coming in. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. And just do that a few times. Following the breath, the inhale brings you up. The exhale brings you down. It's kind of like a massage for the spine. It opens up the whole back. It opens your chest, opens your heart. Make sure you're coordinating your movement with your breath. Do one more round. And then come into a neutral spine. Curl your toes under. We're going to go into downward facing dog, but what you're going to do is you're going to keep your knees bent throughout the time that we're in downward dog. So you're just going to lift your knees off the ground, start to push back as though you're pushing your hands. With your hands, you're pushing the floor away from your body and lifting your hips up toward the ceiling. Keep lifting the hips. You don't need to straighten your legs because I really want you to feel the stretch through the spine. Relax your shoulders, relax your head, and take 3 deep breaths here. Good. Now what I want you to do is very carefully walk your hands back. Let your heels land. Still keep your knees bent and just drape your body over. So allowing your upper body to drape over the legs, letting your neck release completely. Relax your toes. You can do this with straight legs. The problem is that oftentimes when we straighten the legs, we start to round the back. So I prefer that you keep the knees bent and your back straight. Take one more breath. Now release your arms. Keep your knees bent and roll up vertebra by vertebra. And you're going to let your head be the very last thing that comes up. And then just pause, close your eyes, notice sensations in your body. But it's always important to pay attention. And I think this is what this time is doing for all of us more than anything, is it's forcing us to pay attention to our bodies, to our minds, to what's happening internally, because we have more and more quiet time to do that. So now with your feet hip width apart, I want you to place your hands right over your hips. Drop your shoulders. Good. Relax your neck. Extend. And then you're going to start to bring your head from side to side and lift the shoulder toward which you're moving your head. So this is kind of an opening for the neck. Just going to go side to side. It does take a little bit of coordination. So when your neck is tight, when the cervical spine is too tight, this sends signals to the brain to keep your nervous system activated because that area is so close to the brain, right? So when we release the muscles around the neck, you can actually start to relax the nervous system. You might also notice that when you're in a period of stress or you're working too hard, your neck tends to get really tight. That's kind of how your body puts you in that survival mode. Good. And then slow that down. Now what I want you to do is just gently bring your chin to your chest and then your head back. Only go so far back as it's comfortable, especially if you have an injury in your neck. You want to be really gentle. And notice how I'm keeping my shoulders slightly elevated just to protect my neck as I'm moving. And then come back to center. And then what I want you to do is take your left hand and I want you to grab the opposite ear and just pull the head. And just breathe. Relax your shoulder.
And drop the other hand. Let that stretch intensify through the whole side body. Keep that ujjayi breathing going. It's okay if you forget to breathe, I'll remind you. Take one more breath. With your exhale, relax into it a little bit more. And then bring your head up, drop the hand. And let's do the other side. You can place this hand on your hip, reach around, grab the ear, go over to the side. Relax the shoulder. And once you're in position, you can drop the arm. Breathe. And then let's drop the head. That's a little more gentle, and then drop the arm. Good. So what you want to do to start to move chi or energy throughout your body, which is pretty much what we're going to focus on today, is releasing the areas of stuckness. Someone wrote in the comments that they've been feeling a little bit stuck. So to do that, one of the best ways to get unstuck mentally is to get unstuck physically. So one of the best ways, in my opinion, to do that is to start to free up all of the major joints in the body. So we did a little bit in the neck. We're going to now go into the shoulder. So we'll work our way down. You can also do the reverse, but this is how we'll do it today. You're going to come forward with the shoulders, go up, back, and down. And still keep your feet hip width apart. And what you really want to pay attention to is, are you doing this movement from the shoulders, or are you doing this movement using your arms? If your elbows bent, it means you're using too much of your arms. Just keep the arms relaxed. Just let them kind of brush the legs, and let the movement be from the shoulders. Good. And then we're going to reverse directions. So you're going to go back, up, forward, and down. And as you're doing this movement, you also want to kind of contract your abdomen when you come forward, activating the abdominal muscles, working into kind of the organs of digestion. Good. Good. Now, oftentimes people ask me, how many rounds of each movement should I do? In Chinese medicine, we like the number 9 because that's considered the most yang number, but it really doesn't matter that much. You can do whatever you like. I like to go in increments of 9 whenever I'm practicing on my own at home. So next we're going to open the sides of your body. So this is the area through which the gallbladder meridian runs. So that channel runs kind of down the back of your neck along the sides of your body and supports the liver as well. So you're going to go side to side. This also will free up your rotation, freeing up the side body like this. And just keep breathing. Good. Good, and then slow that down. And take your hands on your hips. You're going to make small circles with the hips, just to start to open up the lower back, just like we did when we were sitting, a little bit bigger of a movement now. And then we'll start to take the circles even larger. Breathe and breathe. No matter how slow or how fast the movement. How are you guys doing? Good? Good, and then slow it down, reverse directions. So you start small, gentle, and then go bigger. Place your hands over your knees, bend your knees, and start to rotate the knees. So notice how we're just going from each major joint to the next.
freeing up any stuck energy. So since chi or energy moves in circles, we do a lot of circular movements to free up that energy. Breathe. Good. And then reverse directions. Good. And then bring your feet together and let's rotate both knees simultaneously. So bend the knees and rotate one direction. Keep your ankles loose too, so you can let your heels kind of lift off the floor as you do this movement. Then you get the ankles involved a little too. And then reverse. And then straighten your legs, so you're kind of gazing forward with your legs straight, letting your back release. And then bend your knees, roll up. And let's just shake out the wrists. So a lot of stagnation. In Chinese medicine, we have Jing Well points, which are at the tips of your fingers and toes. Those points are the entry and exit points of energy or qi in the body. So when we want to free up, right, we want to let go of stagnation, you have to be able to free that stagnation, that holding through the digits. So you want to loosen all that up. You can lift your arms, go a little bit more. If you want to play with your coordination, you can do one going up, the other out. And then switch, and switch, and keep switching. Good, and then we'll kind of bring the feet into it so you can start to shake out. What you're doing here by shaking the energy of your body also is you're activating the energy that runs along the surface of your body during the day, and that's known as Wei Qi. That essentially comprises your immune system. So if you've been feeling run down, if you're tired, if you're kind of under the weather, do a lot of shaking. So let's do that for a little bit here. Just shake, shake, shake. Shake your shoulders, shake your hips, shake your legs, your knees, everything. Shake it all out. And with this, you can breathe out your mouth because you're trying to release energy more than you're trying to build it. So it's an inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And then slow that down. Pause. Close your eyes, notice how you feel. Notice the tingling sensations, the movement. All of that is the qi, the energy, and at the surface, that energy is known as the Wei Qi. And let's go ahead and open a little bit more through rotation. So you're just going to let your arms swing. And as you rotate, you can lift the back heel. That'll help you accentuate the rotation, but also protect your lower back. So just swinging the arms side to side. Breathing as you move. And you can even shake your arms as you turn from side to side if you want. Breathe. Good, and then slow that down. And again, pause and breathe. It's always important to drop in, take a moment to notice what you're experiencing. Make sure you're still breathing. This is all really important to keep you embodied throughout the practice so that you don't drift with the thoughts or with whatever else it is that you have going on.
Take one deep breath. Exhale. Good. And then let's get into a horse stance. So you're going to stand with your feet pretty wide apart, and you're going to place your hands on your hips at first. Now your toes can turn out to about a 45-degree angle. You want to make sure that your back is flat. So even before you bend your knees, what I want you to do is place one hand over the lower abdomen, one hand over the lower back. So you make sure that this area, the chi or the energy here, is really contained. As you bend your knees, I want you to point your knees toward each pinky toe. So your knees don't cave in, because that's going to hurt your knee joint. You want to go out. And as you go out, you feel the external rotation of your thighs. You hold here and go a little bit deeper if you can. Tuck your tailbone, relax your shoulders. Now if you're comfortable here, you can start to bring the hands to the center of your chest. And let's take 3 breaths. Relax your toes, push weight to the outer edges of your feet. Sink a little deeper. And then drop your hands. Stay with me, just breathe. Take your arms, of course you can take a break if you need to, but if you can, stay a little bit deeper and just go side to side. Breathe and breathe. Good, and then come back. Drop your arms and lift. Arms go over your head. Drape them down the front of your body as you exhale. Heel and toe your feet closer to each other. So you're again hip distance apart with your feet. You're going to do 3 rounds to bring yourself back to center. Inhale as you raise the arms. Exhale as you drop the hands down. As you raise your arms, feel the energy go up the spine to the top of your head. As you exhale, feel that energy just wash down the front of your body. One more. Inhale and exhale. And once you've completed that round, ladies, you're going to place your right hand right below the navel. Cover it with the left. Gentlemen, you're going to do the opposite. Relax your shoulders. Relax your eyes. Notice the breathing. Notice the sensations throughout your body. Notice the rhythm of your breath. Keep your attention in the lower abdominal region, homing in the energy that we've created or cultivated in this practice into the lower abdomen, sending it back into the kidneys, the home of your essential chi or energy. When your kidneys are strong, you have a strong will. The kidneys also support your immune system, your digestive system. And they comfort you and help you have faith in times of uncertainty and fear. The strong kidneys help you to have courage. Good, and then relax your hands. And let's come to a seated position. Usually what I do is I start with a yin posture because I think it's helpful to kind of loosen up in that way, but today it just feels appropriate to go drop in and finish with a yin pose. So what you're going to do is just sit in the most basic of the yin postures, which is known as butterfly. And what you'll do is you'll bring your feet together and the knees just drape out to the sides. Relax your shoulders.
Take a few breaths here. Just let yourself settle and ground down. So there's a lot of movement that happened throughout that warm-up, but now we're going to kind of bring it all back. So the major kidney point that I want you to pay attention to is kidney 1, which is located, if you look between the second and third toe, and drop your finger until it dips underneath the ball of the foot, right about here, on both sides, so on both feet. As you stimulate this point, you're activating the energy of your kidneys. And kidneys really thrive on rest and on creating a sense of calmness in your life and in your body and mind. So as we do this posture, you're going to notice the quality of the pose is going to start to calm your nervous system down. Yin yoga is based in doing a more passive practice. So in Chinese medicine, we have these two elements, yin and yang. Yin would be whatever's quieter, more contemplative, more inward. And yang would be more expressive or more assertive, outward in its expression. Yang would be more the nature of the practice we just did. Yin would be more of a quiet, contemplative practice. In yin yoga, we hold the postures for several minutes. And what you're trying to do is you try to relax the muscles as much as possible so there's no tension. So you can begin with your spine long, just to adjust yourself, and then drop the shoulders. As you move forward, however, I want you to actually allow your back to round. I'll keep my head up just so that I can keep sharing with you, but if you want, you can let your head drop completely. The only exception for that would be if you have a neck injury or a lot of sensitivity in your cervical spine, then you want to be really, careful with that. But if it's comfortable for you to do so, just let your head release completely, let your shoulders relax, let your underarms stay hollow. And then continue that Ujjayi breath. Slightly constrict the back of your throat. Breathe in and out through your nose. Feel that warmth, that lubrication begin to build up in your body. And the idea here is to relax the muscles as much as possible so that you can begin to stretch the connective tissue, so that you can begin to move energy through the meridians. And as you free up the energy in those deeper layers, you'll be able to feel more freedom of movement in every aspect of your life. Stay soft in the shoulders, in the face, in your eyes. Keep your breath even, deep. Stay with a nice gentle rhythm of inhale and exhale. And then scan your body and notice where you can let go a little bit more. Oftentimes, the muscles that we clench most are in our face, and those can relax here. You may find that breath by breath, you're able to relax more deeply into the posture, which is great. And if there's resistance, that's great too. That's just where you are today. It'll change. Allow yourself to find stillness and ease in your body, one breath at a time. Let's stay together here for 5 more breaths. You can continue to stimulate that point, kidney 1, right underneath the ball of your foot on each side. Continue to soften in the shoulders, your back, your legs, your arms.
And let's take one more breath. Just melting into the pose as much as is possible. And using your inhalation to pull your body up. You can take your hands and with your hands support your knees to pull together and separate your feet and let your head drop. When you're doing a yin style practice and you hold the pose for several minutes, it's really, really important to take time with your transition, because you don't want to kind of jerk and pull any muscles. Taking time also allows you to stay in that quiet space, to not just jump to the next. And the time that you take in your practice allows you the opportunity to do less, to take time, to slow down, and to practice being. And then when you're ready, we'll close with another short meditation. You can use your cushion here once again if you'd like. Just place it underneath you, creating a nice comfortable seat for yourself, settling back into your body. In your hand position, again, either between the legs, on the knees, whatever's most comfortable for you. Legs crossed. Or if it's comfortable or uncomfortable for you to be on the floor, you can always sit on a chair. You want to modify your practice so that you don't feel overwhelmed by it, so that it becomes easy to return to every day. As you close your eyes, I want you to take a deep breath and pay attention to what's happening in your physical body now. Notice the areas of comfort and ease. Notice if they've changed at all, and breathe space into those areas, expanding a little bit more. And then next, noticing your emotional state. Naming without describing the feelings that you're experiencing right now. And I want you to remember one of those feelings for later. Take a breath there. And then bring your attention to your mind. Notice your thoughts. Are they quieter or are they louder? Either way is fine. This is about being, not about trying to change anything. Take a breath there. And then come back into your environment. Notice the sensations, the smells, the sounds, the temperature, the energy of the room that you're sitting in. Anything else that you can feel, taste, hear, or smell.
Remembering that these four elements, your body, your emotions, your mind, and your environment, are in a constant state of change. And that's why we can't get attached to where we are with any of them in any moment. Bring your hands to your heart. Thank you so much for being here with me this morning, for sharing this time with me.